You pour a glass of wine after a brutal day, your shoulders drop, you exhale, you feel better. And some part of you thinks, okay, yes, this works, right? And here's what I want you to know. You're not imagining it. It really does work in the moment. The problem, and this is what we're diving into today, is that your brain is watching. It's taking notes. And over time, it stops seeing that glass of wine as a choice you're making and starts treating it like something you need to survive. So today we're talking about anxiety, alcohol, and the very real science-backed reason why so many smart, capable, high-functioning women find themselves drinking more than they ever planned to. And then we're going to talk about what actually works instead. So let's go.
Welcome to Sober and Lit,
the podcast for women who want to get sober, stay sober, and live a life that's way more lit than it ever was with wine.
We're your hosts, Ruby and Susan, two alcohol freedom coaches keeping it real with stories, tools, and zero judgment.
Whether you're sober curious or all in, you're in the right place.
Let's feel lit, alcohol free.
Welcome to the Sober and Lit podcast. Yay! Hi, Ruby.
Hi.
So today's episode is one I've wanted to do for a really long time because I think it explains so much. It explains why so many of us, especially women who are managing a lot, who are stressed, who are anxious, find that drinking kind of sneaks up on us. I mean, we weren't trying to develop a habit. We're not party girls, we were just trying to get through the day. And if that resonates with you at all, I want you to stay with us because this episode is going to make a lot of things click. I mean, it seemed to me that drinking to relieve anxiety led to developing alcohol use disorder faster. So I've been doing some research on this because I struggle with anxiety. I drank to deal with anxiety, and I feel like I got whiplash on how fast it turned problematic for me. And I hear this a lot with the women I work with, like, oh, how did the heck, did this happen?
Or how did this happen to me?
To me. Like I used to just drink socially, and now all of a sudden I'm drinking a lot more than I planned to. I'm drinking a lot more than I want to. So first, let's talk about why alcohol works for anxiety in the first place. So Ruby, did you ever use alcohol when you felt anxious?
Absolutely. I would describe it as like this chronic anxiety, this like underlying vibration all the time. Like I'm like, you see that video, it's like a shaking feeling all day long. And it was just like every day, all day long, every day. I felt like I woke up with it, and it never quite like got away from me. And then I would work all day, make all these decisions, put out fires, have a stressful work day. And then I would say, I need this. Yep, it felt like survival. I need this at the end of the workday because I'm so anxious, so exhausted. Yeah. So
me too. Like I would be described as high strung. A lot of times my husband used to say, oh, like have a drink. It makes you normal because I would just be always, riding on this sort of anxious energy all the time. And I kind of felt like that anxious energy helped me get a lot done. And so there was also that factor of like, it was helpful to me too. So my brain saw it as like, this is how we get stuff done, just at this high hustle, frenetic pace. So, but here's what's happening in your brain. Your brain has like a natural calming system. Think of it like a dimmer switch for your nervous system. But when you're anxious, that switch gets stuck on like bright. Everything feels loud and sharp and too much, like both of us are describing, right? And alcohol, when we drink, it comes in and pushes the dimmer switch down. And so basically we're using it to regulate our nervous system like we've talked about before on the podcast. So the noise gets quiet, the tension in your chest loosens, the spiral in your head slows down. And I know a lot of women I talk to, they're like, I just want it all to stop. But here's the thing. Here's the sneaky part. At the same time, your brain releases a little hit of dopamine And that's your feel good chemical, the learning chemical, the one that says, yes, do more of that. So one single drink, you've gotten relief and reward. And that is a very powerful combination.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is what makes it addictive, honestly. So, and there's research to back this up. The research from the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism describes alcohol as dually reinforcing. Dually, too. Both these things are reinforcing. It turns on the feel-good system, turns off the stress simultaneously. And no wonder it feels like it works, because in that moment, it does. And we like to say, it works until it doesn't. So, but if hopefully you can hear me on this, that what's happening in your brain then is when you drink is not a character flaw. It's chemistry. It's a chemical reaction in your brain. There's nothing wrong with you if you've been using alcohol to wind down after a stressful day or to calm anxiety before a big event, pre-gaming. You are not weak. You found something that works quickly, that's legal, that's socially acceptable, and that's available at every grocery store and restaurant on the planet. You're not broken. You're human, right?
Yeah. And that dopamine level, it's not just a little bit. It is so artificially high. It's not even available naturally. It's our brain is really liking that. So that's, yeah.
It's extremely reinforcing. It's again, teaching your brain, do this. This is good. So, and then, as you repeat that pattern, say you do it maybe not every night, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, you repeat the pattern over and over for years or months even, the stronger your brain connects anxiety with alcohol, the way it connects hunger with food. So it stops being a choice and it starts becoming like a pull that you feel. Right?
Right. I felt that. Yeah.
Yes. I felt that too. And that's uncomfortable, right? But over time, your brain can start treating alcohol not as something that just is a choice or is nice, let's just go have a drink, but something that it believes, your brain, that you actually need in order to feel okay. And I totally get that. I mean, my husband even reinforced by saying you need a drink to help you be normal.
Yeah. I remember one time my son, I was like getting ready for like Thanksgiving, and I was just like that frenetic, like trying to set the table and cook and da-da-da. And my son was like, just go meditate, Mom. And there was no way. When I was up there, that anxiety, it's like I couldn't just calm myself down unless I drank.
Yeah.
It was, I couldn't do it naturally, so to speak. Yeah.
Right. So there's nothing wrong with you. Your brain is just doing what brains do. It learned a pattern and it optimized it. That's what our brains do. They want to make things easier. And so it became an automatic pattern. And some people talk about that too. Like, oh, it's just an automatic reaction. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. I come home, put my purse on the counter and open the refrigerator and get my glass of wine. And before I know it, I'm drinking a glass and I don't even remember thinking about it or choosing it. So do you remember, Ruby, when your drinking shifted from I want it to I need it?
Yes. Well, I couldn't pinpoint. I can't say it was on a certain day or anything. It's just like, we describe it like the pitcher plant. Like all of a sudden you're in it. I feel like maybe the year before that happened, I was literally like saying to myself in my mind, I can take it or leave it. I remember like the evidence would be I could open a bottle of wine, drink a glass or two, put the half a bottle up in the cabinet and say, I'm going to cook with it when next time I make pasta sauce. And there would be like lots of these half bottles, right? That was, so I knew I could take it or leave it, right? And then all of a sudden, that was not possible anymore. I would finish the whole bottle. That's where my drinking went. And then I would open a second bottle. But like, it just shifted. And I would say, just like I hear all the time, like, I don't know how, like, why did it happen to me? I don't think it could have happened to me. I'm so, I have this corporate job and I'm, very responsible. How could it happen to me where all of a sudden I needed it every night? And it felt like a automatic, like you said, like I already had the bottle open by the time I was, home, like just automatic. Yeah.
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 And a lot of women that I work with also say that it's like they do it, but they don't even enjoy it anymore. They just feel like they have to. It's just like something they do. And that is real. Again, that's your brain doing what it was trained to do. It's just to do this automatically without thinking. It's like how you drive to work. If you've been going to this job for a long time and you can just be daydreaming or thinking about your grocery list and then all of a sudden you're at work, your brain already knows how to get there. You don't have to think about it. But the good news is, so we always talk about this on the podcast, is our brain can be retrained. And that's actually what we do in coaching, right? We help you retrain your brain. Let's keep talking and pull back the curtain on this a little bit, because I think the one thing that I my hypothesis was that drinking for anxiety, or especially as a coping mechanism, can create problematic drinking faster than just social drinking. And so this is what I was researching. And I think that this explains why so many of us say, well, I don't understand how this happened so fast, right? So what the truth is, and the science, and there's studies and things that back this up, is that if you struggle with anxiety, you are more vulnerable to this pattern. So I want you to hear me: more vulnerable, not flawed, not that you have a moral failure, there's something wrong with you, or there's something wrong with your brain, just more vulnerable. And there's a difference. Okay. So the research shows that people with anxiety or depression are somewhere between 4 and 8 times more likely to develop a problematic relationship with alcohol than people without those conditions. And research from the University of Minnesota found that people with anxiety and mood disorders experience more symptoms of alcohol use disorder on a drink for drink basis than people without those disorders. So it's sometimes the same amount of alcohol, but there's more impact. Again, that alcohol is doing something to your brain, teaching your brain. It happens faster. Scientifically, the word for it happening faster is called telescoping, meaning the time from where I drink socially to I'm drinking more than I want to be is compressed for people with anxiety. It's like your road is shorter, not because you're weaker, but because your brain had an urgent problem to solve, the anxiety, and alcohol solved it fast. So those neural pathways form faster. The habit loop that I talk about tightened faster. And so again, I just really want you to understand that it's not your fault and there's nothing wrong with you, because so many women come to me and are like, I think I have a drinking problem. But what they have really is an anxiety problem that they've been medicating with alcohol because they didn't have any other better tools to use. And that's not a moral failure. That's a gap in support. And I think we're really seeing that with women, especially women in midlife. What do you think about that?
Well, it's so true. It's so sad that, people, especially midlife women that we see a lot of it, they feel like they have this problem. And then if you look back at your life and it's like, well, of course you started drinking. Of course you started using it. You had, I'm like, okay, you got married maybe, and then you had kids and then you have this job and life is stressful and you're getting it from everywhere in society, maybe your family, your friends, like alcohol's accepted. So then you use it as your coping tool. And I think you're right. And I have, this is new to me, learning about telescoping. So that's so interesting that I think I would say it. I was saying it before I knew this word, telescoping, was that like, if you're using alcohol emotionally to deal with emotions, coping with emotions, I think, it's like you're on a shorter path to alcohol use disorder. It just goes faster, like you said. So I agree with your research and
well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this research, but I'd love to figure out somebody who would, it's out there, but nobody specifically says it. You know what I mean? Like I was looking for like, I'm piecing together all these different pieces of research, but nobody's actually out there going, hey, if you're drinking for anxiety, you're susceptible to developing problematic drinking faster. Nobody just says it in plain language like that. I wish they did.
So go for it.
I know it makes so much sense, but it also makes sense for us gray area drinkers, especially when we talk about accelerator events, why you can be, all of a sudden you get divorced, you're under super stressful situation or your husband dies or et cetera, like accelerator events, you start drinking and then how people are just like, wow, within 1 year, all of a sudden my drinking just became problematic so fast.
Yeah.
And again, they think there's something wrong with them, but it really is just the way alcohol works.
Yeah, your brain is perfectly normal. It's doing the right thing. It's just alcohol's addictive. Yeah, so it's not your fault. Yeah.
And so once you understand your brain has just been trying to solve a problem with the wrong tool, you can start to learn better tools and you don't need to shame yourself or blame yourself or use a label. All you need is information and support. That's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. I hope that helps people feel freed. Like I know when I finally stopped feeling like I had to get back to being normal, that I was able to just let it go, and everything that I learned by choosing an alcohol-free lifestyle, about all the coping mechanisms that I learned that really work, I wouldn't give those up. I'm so glad,
Yeah.
So
I think understanding the science is so key, at least for me too. Like just understanding that it's not my fault, how the brain works. So I do hope this is helping the listeners.
Yeah. And then you get to say, okay, it's my responsibility. And smart women, we go, okay, I just need new tools. And to understand that also your brain can change. There's neuroplasticity. You're not stuck. And we can start to apply the energy that maybe we were applying towards moderating or applying towards wrangling our drinking or whatever. We can apply it towards starting to use some real tools that really work to deal with our anxiety so that then our brain can let go of alcohol as a tool. So let's
talk some tools. Yeah, let's talk tools.
Yeah. Let's talk tools. And these are researched and actually effective tools for managing anxiety. They're not a magic pill. They're not, they take practice. They're more of a seed than a switch, right? Maybe they don't work in 3 seconds the way alcohol does, at least not at first. But here's the thing, they work better over time. We know that alcohol borrows from your future to pay for your present. And these tools actually build your capacity to handle stress and anxiety. You get stronger, you get more resilient, and you don't need temporary relief, which is amazing, right? This is what we talk about when we say that sobriety has become our superpower, right? Because all of a sudden we have so much more resilience. And I don't know, what do you think, Ruby? Do you feel like it's your superpower?
Yes. I can't wait to talk about these tools because it's become a superpower, and it is about practice. It doesn't happen right away. It like builds over time. So yeah exactly.
At first, when you use the tools, you're going to be like,
what?
Well, this doesn't work. Or, it doesn't work like alcohol, but alcohol is a drug. Let's keep coming back to that. Nothing works like drugs. Drugs have, a really high dopamine hit. And so, yeah.
So this is more stable, more sustainable. Yeah. We got some great tools for you. Can't wait to share.
So the first one is breath work. And I know we've talked about that a lot. I know people are like, oh my God, just breathe. Stay with me because your breath does work. And it's the single fastest tool that you have access to at any moment, because no matter where you are, you can breathe. So we've talked about this. When you're anxious, your nervous system is in fight or flight, and your body thinks there's a threat. So anxiety in your body, your brain is perceiving as a threat. It's something to be eliminated. And then it wants to use alcohol to eliminate it. everything tightens up. Your breathing gets very shallow. Maybe you feel really stuck in your throat. So if you stop and you breathe, especially breathing deep into your belly, so try to get it out of your chest, it activates the opposite system. It activates the rest and digest system, the one that calms everything down. And research shows that this breathing stimulates the part of your nervous system that's responsible for relaxation. So it's like a switch. It's like that switch that your brain is looking for to use alcohol for, the dimmer switch, but it's actually in your brain and your breath. You carry that around with you all the time. You have everything you need in your body. And it actually targets the same part of your brain that alcohol targets. So it's a simple place to start. We've done 2x breath here. I've taught you guys VU breath. There's another one, box breathing. You breathe out, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. You can do that 3 to 5 times. The next time you feel yourself reaching for a drink, try this first. You just might be surprised. And, I've suggested this on other episodes too. Try practicing it when you're not in a crisis. Practice it in the car, when you're in traffic. Practice it in the grocery store when you're in the long line and you pick the wrong line. That always happens to me. I'm sitting there going, I picked the wrong line again. So you can practice it so that when you do need it for an urge to drink, you're not going, wait, is it count in 4, count out 4? You've practiced it a few times. And I'd love to hear, if you have been following us for a while, what your favorite breath technique is, and if you have ever tried them. Because I do hear from ladies that I work with that they love the VU breath, which we've talked about in other episodes. So if you try some of our breathing or some of our tools, we love to hear if they work for you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So tool number 2, I'm going to let Ruby take this one, which is mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Yes. Yeah. Mindfulness. Some mindfulness practices could be meditation. It could be guided meditations, or it could be just getting into your senses, which is one of my favorite. But so one of mine is you think of like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's like you start with like 5 things you can see. And you just look around and notice like a lamp, I have a painting, a window, the pen in my hand. And then 4, it's 4 things that you can touch, or feel. So maybe it's even the hair on your neck or this chair underneath you or your feet on the ground, and you can touch, the table. Then 3 is 3 things you hear. And I love to do like something that's quiet, like maybe a sound of, I don't know, a dishwasher or something and maybe something loud, like a dog barking, but it's like, what do you hear? Or birds, chirping outside, or even the sound of your breath, and you just 3 things you can hear. And then 2 things you can smell. Maybe you can smell, or just even imagine a favorite scent. Like one of my favorite scents is vanilla, like thinking of vanilla, chocolate chip cookies or something, and then 1 thing you can taste. It might be that coffee you had in the morning or whatever you ate for lunch. Mindfulness is what it does is it just anchors you in the present moment. And instead of being like thinking about the past or thinking about future tripping about the future, it just gets you really present. You can even like just look at your hands, that to me it's really present too. And so, mindfulness, there's so much more to it. We could talk about mindfulness and meditation and guided meditation. For forever. There's so many. But I do know when I was drinking, I called myself like having a monkey brain and like just, like when my son said, Mom, when I was anxious, just meditate. And it's something that it was really hard at first. Doing that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you could do that in just a couple of minutes. Or if you want to just do Susan's breath work, just for a couple of minutes at first, really small amount of time, and practice it. and it really can significantly reduce your anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe less stressed, less anxious. This one practice of mindfulness and meditation is just like brilliant. And it gives me that kind of brainwave feeling that I always wanted when I was drinking that I never really got. Like you get that initial, but then the anxiety would come back with drinking.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And with,
awesome. And I think that's a great tool. And this, there's a lot of people who have social anxiety. And I think this mindfulness practice, even if you shorten it to 333, like 3 things I hear, 3 things I see, 3 things I feel, right when you walk into an event, it helps you orient yourself to the event, especially the 3 things you see and then like hearing, and it lowers your anxiety. Because I know a lot of people who struggle with anxiety, some of that anxiety is social anxiety. And so this is a really helpful thing, and the breathing that you can do for social anxiety.
do them together. Yeah. And do those 2 together. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And then the third tried and true and scientifically backed way to help with anxiety is movement. So it's not just about going to the gym or being a gym bro or whatever, but when you move your body, just any kind of movement, you get a natural release of serotonin and dopamine, and those are the same feel good chemicals that alcohol triggers. But the difference is that alcohol borrows those chemicals and then leaves your system depleted, and exercise produces more of them. So you're building a supply, not draining it. So many studies have shown that aerobic activity significantly decreases anxiety, not just a little, but like meaningfully. And it doesn't have to be intense. It can be, I love walking. It can be a 20-minute walk. It can be our 1-minute dance party. We talk about dancing around in your kitchen, anything that gets your heart rate up, gets you out of your head. That's the goal. And, a lot of times when we have the urge to drink, it's that our body wants to be in a different state. It's asking for a state change. It wants to feel different. And a drink is one way to do that. But also, so is exercise. So is movement. So is walking around the block or putting on a song and dancing. And those options make you feel better tomorrow. So what is one of your favorite ways for movement, Ruby, that helps you on a regular basis with anxiety?
I would have to say yoga. I just love yoga. I do yoga almost, every day or as often as I can. It's really I almost see it as like, it's like a meditation. It's like a moving meditation. I think walking is too. And so all 3 of these, like breath work too, when I'm in my yoga classes, they're like, yoga is breath. Like that is like, I guess
means breath.
Yeah. So it's like all 3 of these, breath, mindfulness, and movement, truly are the foundations. I love yoga. It's just calming to me. And I feel like I gain strength, and I just don't have to do anything. I listen and watch the instructor. I don't have to I do sometimes think a little bit, like my mind wanders and I'm like, oh yeah, wait a minute, I'm here. Yoga. Yeah. So that's what it's like. You'll wander and you come back, and you'll wander with all of these, and then you just keep coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. I love yoga. And you're right. I started practicing yoga or even trying yoga out when I first started going alcohol free. And I would do these little short yoga practices that I called yoga snacks because they were like 15 minutes. That was what I could tolerate at the time. Probably because of my anxiety, I needed like more vigorous movement. But the yoga makes me feel so good. I love yoga. Yeah. And you're right. Yoga combines all 3. So that is a great 4th tip, is if you want to combine all 3, do yoga.
Do yoga.
Yay. Yeah. So just to come full circle here, there's nothing wrong with you, but the anxiety and alcohol are deeply connected. And not because you're weak or you made bad choices, but because alcohol is genuinely effective at calming anxiety in the short term, and your brain is really good at learning patterns. And so if you found yourself drinking more than you want to, especially during stressful or anxious periods, it makes complete sense. Your brain is just doing its job. You just need some new options. And the good news is that once you understand why this is happening, you have so much more power over it. So it's not really about willpower. It's about working with your brain instead of against it. So
love that.
Yeah, I love it too. And so this is what we do in our coaching. And if this resonates with you, I would love to work with you. I would love to work with you in learning some of these new coping mechanisms, learning some of your habits, and learning some ways to genuinely work with your anxiety to help you feel good. And so the link to work with either Ruby or I are in the show notes. So Ruby, this is the time in our podcast, our favorite time, where we ask each other what we're doing in our life to feel lit, alcohol free. So what are you doing?
What am I doing? Yeah, I was thinking about this today and what am I going to bring up? And you know what I'm loving is evenings and nighttime, because when I was drinking, I would be watching TV or passing out. And now I love this. I walk my dog and it's nighttime, it's dark, and I can just look at all the stars, and I just feel like the whole universe and the stars like come into my chest, and I walk my little bagel, my dog, and I don't know, just something about the nighttime that probably for a decade or more I was missing. I wasn't, really going outside and looking at stars. I mean, I probably did occasionally, but this is something that I do on a regular basis, and I live out in the country. So even if I just go out on my deck and there's just so many stars and the evening, and it's just a beautiful time. I just have so much awe and so much, I love the word awe, because I think that's what I missed when I was in my drinking decades, is that awe, the awe of the sunrise and the stars and the sunset. Like a lot of that really comes back the more and more time that I'm alcohol free, and it just feels amazing to I don't know. I'm trying to explain it to you because it's probably difficult I didn't know what it really felt like when I was in the drinking days, but it's like a rush, like I said, that comes into my chest, my heart, my lungs. And I just can feel like one with the universe. Maybe I'm getting too woo-woo, but it feels amazing. And then you see all the stars, and I don't know. I love it.
That's beautiful. It's so funny because I have a client who said, what am I doing with all my newfound time? I go outside and I look at the stars, and she was showing me all these pictures she had on her phone, taking pictures of the stars.
Nature and stars.
Soothing to your nervous system. So, so we will let you all go today, but hopefully this episode has helped you learn a little something, laugh along with us, and hopefully inspire you maybe to do some yoga, or maybe to jump in and change your drinking and let go of the shame and blame. And there's nothing wrong with you. We like to say it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And sometimes when we just understand the science, we can get our smart lady brain around it and just go, yeah, okay. Oh, I could do something about this. Yes. So I hope this encouraged you. And we like to always encourage our listeners to do something today to make you feel lit. Thanks so much for listening to the Sober and Lit podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe, rate, and review. It really helps get the word out.
And remember, do something today to help you feel lit.
See you next week.